Okay, hello, welcome to Heroes Hour. Today we're going to be playing the new Rogue Realms DLC, which I think is unreleased at the time of recording, although by the time I release this it probably has been released. So we're going to be going through what this new DLC adds, and also going to be playing through one of the new maps which has been added. You can see there are quite a number of new maps. So we're going to be playing through the map Untamed Lands. Other examples of maps that have been added: there's Hinterlands, which is a large map with little spaces to expand into. I've also tried out Desert of Death, which is an interesting one. You start off in one of your towns and you have to kind of cross the map, cross the desert in order to reach your opponent. But the desert is filled with roaming, dangerous bandits who will attack you on sight if you happen to end your turn nearby. So I actually found that one surprisingly tough because I'm used to seeing these kind of neutral roaming heroes, but I'm not used to them actually moving in to attack me. But of course, the main thing that this DLC adds is a new faction called the Rogue faction. And the Rogue faction is really interesting because it's kind of like 12 mini-factions rolled into one. Each of these mini-factions has the same kind of core, which is the same basic buildings, but they're all different in terms of their unit lineups, they're all different in terms of the heroes you get, and they all have their own unique town screen. Of these 12 towns, you have to start as one of 6, so I think 6 are effectively playable, the other 6 I think will only appear in-game, potentially to be conquered by you. Yeah, there are 6 you can choose from. There are a total of 12 heroes you can choose from. So we can see here there are 6 different flavors of towns within the Rogue faction. There's the Tyranny flavor, which is very heavily focused on dragons. The Nature flavor, which I've not really tried out too much, to be honest. The Experiment flavor, which is all about, I guess, mad scientists creating abominations and things. There's the Industry flavor, which, as you can see, is a bit more sci-fi focused, a bit more robotic. The Spore flavor, which is, again, pretty self-explanatory. It's these kind of mushroom, fungi-focused heroes. And then there's the Province flavor, which is, I guess, kind of a bright, colourful valley, I suppose. And those are the 6 choices you get, the 6 choices of towns, 12 choices of different heroes, and then there are some more that are discoverable through playing the actual game. But let's just do a brief comparison. So if we compare this to the Order faction, for example, or literally any other faction that's currently in the game, you can see ordinarily you get a choice of 2 different types of hero classes, and you can swap between 12 different heroes, split across those 2 different classes. So the Rogue faction is very different in that you're not only choosing your hero, you're also choosing the flavor of your town, the town's creature lineup, and yeah, the heroes themselves are also really different to one another. Other things the DLC adds, it adds in 67 new units, 24 new heroes, 28 new skills, 25 new buildings, and also new war machines and the map types we have previously covered. So we're going to be just picking one of these new flavors of towns within the Rogue faction, and we're going to go with the Experiment version, the Experiment flavor. So let's just have a quick look at what that does. So we have 2 choices. We have Dr. Tess and we have Ector. Quite like Dr. Tess because Dr. Tess starts off with blood warping, so we can transform our weak creatures into elite creatures on a pretty regular basis. That's really quite appealing. And she also has some pretty good skills that you can unlock as you progress through as well. For example, the Tinker skill, which gives you extra bodyguards, which are always good for helping to expand. As for the DLC itself, is this DLC worth buying? I will be covering questions like that as we play, but I think for now it's worth just jumping in. We're going to be playing on challenging difficulty. Selecting Dr. Tess, and our opponent, I think we'll also put them as Rogue, and let's put them as one of these 2 Tyranny heroes, just so we can see the kind of dragon flavor of the town. And you can see that even on the overworld map, we do have completely different town designs, completely different town screens. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump in, and let's see how this goes. Okay, so we can see our opening here. We do have a defended sawmill just there. If we go into the town itself, you can see that this is, I think it's kind of picturesque, but the music is very creepy, and the reason the music is very creepy is because our creature lineup are all pretty creepy. So Cockatrice, the actual creature lineups, there are a lot of new creatures in the Rogue lineups. They also bring in some of the kind of neutral creatures from previous lineups, and just kind of mix them together into 12 different lineups within this town. So all versions of the Rogue faction have certain other things in common, for example the Summoning Circle, Potentiator, Lieutenant Hall, stuff like that. Wall Turrets is also another new building, which I think has been added to just about every other faction. And every faction in the game also has been given an extra unique building as part of this new expansion. So we're going to start things off, I think, by just going for a library, which will give us some instant access to some spells, increase our income by 500 per turn, and give us, yeah, a bit of ability to get things done in terms of casting magic. So our starting creatures are not very good, to be honest. The Homunculus, which is 26 health, 3 to 6 damage, 5 speed, and is susceptible to terror, which is not good when it's the overwhelming majority of our army. We also have the Apothecary, which is a ranged creature, 8 to 13 damage, much better. We want to get some of these for sure. So in order to get more of those, we need to get to the Experimental Spire, which is going to require us to build the marketplace. There's also the Naturalization Spire, which comes with wild elves, which, as far as I can tell, are elves who walk on all fours. So it's all a little bit creepy. As you progress through the town, you get access to things like Horrors, which are extremely good ranged creatures, and the Spire of Life and Death produces ghost larvae. That should also be interesting. But for now, I think we're probably not quite tough enough to really take fights, so let's just move out and let's do some exploring. Let's try and pick up some resources if we can find some. Not seeing too much so far. We're going to go to this, and we can see a little bit up there. Okay, so that's pretty much all we can do for this first turn. It's a pretty slow turn. Let's end it there. Could go for a tavern and recruit a second hero, and I think with this map being quite open, that probably makes sense, so we're going to go for that. Go into the tavern, and we're going to pick up Burke. Burke is a level 1 wanderer, and comes with some pretty different units. The Equestrians, which as far as I can tell are just centaurs, and Foragers, which are range units. Let's go ahead and recruit him, and we've already built the tavern this turn, so I think best thing we can do is just move out in a separate direction. Just do some exploring. This appears to be a dead end. Guess that makes sense since it's the edge of the map. Okay, going back to Dr. Tess, let's move across to this. Let's go to the treasure chest. Reliable Rapier. +2 attack. That's got to be better for now. Let's go for that. So this map is very open, which means we can reach our opponent potentially if we just push out. But I imagine at the start, probably want to stay in our zone. Okay, gonna end the turn there. So in terms of whether this DLC is worth buying, I don't actually know what the price is going to be. That's not been revealed just yet. But I think the simple answer is, if you already enjoy Heroes Hour, this really adds a lot more layers to it. Adds a lot more variety, lots of different new skills, lots of new strategies, stuff like that. And also, of course, having 12 extra new flavors of town with different town screens. It's all nice, but I think, and this is something that the developer himself has said, I believe, this is pretty much designed to appeal to people who are really already a fan of Heroes Hour. If you're not a fan of Heroes Hour, I mean, I guess I'm surprised you're watching this video, but if you're not fully convinced by Heroes Hour, this is not necessarily going to reinvent the wheel. It's probably not going to change your opinion too much, so just be aware of that. I can see lots of good stuff to the north, so we're going to move towards that. Okay, let's go to the treasure chest, and let's go for some sulfur. And we can see there is actually a town we can claim. A Pyre town. So we should probably go back and actually beef ourselves up a bit. We're going to move towards the camp. Go back to the town. And let's go for the... So the Experimental Spire requires us to level up our town. Let's go for trade expansion first. And we have a choice as we have upgraded our town. So the War Academy gives us +2 attack to each of our heroes. Patriotism for +1 morale, and Grand Library for +2 knowledge. I think I like the simplicity of the War Academy, so we'll go for that. Then we've already constructed this turn, so let's just end the turn there. Okay, let's move towards the treasure chest. 2 Children of Midas, I'm going to go for that. Then we'll go west, we'll pick all this stuff up, and I think we will now start coming back. We'll also move into this little swamp. So this is the Ostroboletus. This is a simple town we can take over. I think, again, not really going to go for that just yet. We've already explored about half the map, so we have to be careful because our opponent could reach us quite easily. Visiting the cartographer allows the hero to purchase a revelation of all roads on the map. So how much does that cost? 2,500? I think we say yes to that. And we can now see the entire map, which is going to help us a lot because we now know exactly where our opponent is. That was surprisingly cheap. Much like Heroes 3, it's a very powerful map object that's surprisingly easy to get access to. Okay, experimental power before the end of the week for sure. And of these two choices, Deviance. That's an interesting one. Lots of hit points. But yeah, I think Apothecary, it's a ranged creature, it's got a blaster, deals damage in a large area. So if we can get a good tanky unit to put up front, we can put these guys in behind, and they should do a pretty good job. Okay, let's end the turn there. We can see the green hero is actually moving quite aggressively, but still quite far off from us, so I think we're fine for now. Okay, we're going to go to the gold obelisk. And just keep picking up these resources. Start bringing Tess back. We'll go to this first. Reveal a bit more. And there is some stuff here we can pick up, but it's just some more, and I think it's just going to take too long. So we're going to start moving back. Then we go back to the town. It's day 6, so we want to keep the creature production coming. So let's go for the naturalization spire first, and of these two choices we have the lab wolves. So they're quick striking, and enemies struck by them are weakened, losing 5% of their maximum health damage and speed. If we go with the creepy wild elves, they leap, they rage, and they retaliate. Okay. So the lab wolf appears to be a lot better, but also produces in far lower numbers. But I still prefer that choice. So we're going to go with lab wolves. And we're going to recruit some of these. And we're just going to send them out to meet our hero. Same goes for this guy. I think we're going to end the turn there. And even though he can keep picking things up, I think what we want to do is we want to split off his units. And we're just going to send the units to catch up to our main. By the way, hopefully it's not too obvious, but I feel like I should acknowledge I do have a bit of a cold at the moment, so I apologize if I'm sounding a bit blocked up. It's because I am. Okay, so this gold is unfortunately blocked off by the roaming neutral. It's not a bandit, so the bandit is not going to attack us. It's just going to wander around and hopefully move on next turn. There's nothing else we can really pick up, so I think we stay here for a turn. End the turn there, although before we do, we should build one final thing. So the best thing we can do is something that's going to increase our unit production, but not too many choices for that. I think we have to go for the hybrid spire. Start producing cockatrice. And let's end the turn there. I don't think it's worth sending them separately. So green is in the center of the map and is already starting to move into our zone. Wow. So already able to attack us. Not sure how we're meant to deal with this. We can't get back. We can get fairly close. That's the best we can do. Really surprised to be attacked this soon. Okay, let's at least bring these in. And then let's go back to this. So, is there anything we can build to help us defend? Probably not. I think main thing we need to do is just recruit as many of these units as possible. So that's all of our gold gone. If we go back to this guy, we do now have access to a little bit more gold. So 1,000 gold just there. And if we move to the north, that doesn't really help us too much. Okay, this map is even more open than I thought, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Just gonna bring everyone back to the town. And let's create a few more units. So we could send these out and bring all our units together. And actually that should be fine, because it already says it's moderate. So when we combine the two forces together, that should make a big difference. So bring these two together, merge these all across, and now it's saying it's easy. So I'm curious what the AI is going to do here. They might just go for the town. But no, they do actually fall back. Play it safe. Okay, that's good. So let's go back to Dr. Tess. I think we do want to go back to the town because what I want to do is I want to build the engineer's workshop. We need a lot more gold. Okay, Where are we going to get gold? I think we have to take these on. So this is a challenging fight. Probably not wise to go for that. There's a moderate fight just there with a small amount of gold. This is an easy fight. And it also hopefully drives green back a little bit further. Okay. I do want to go back to the town, but... yeah, I feel like we need to just increase income. Gone really overboard with the creature production, which has helped us defend. But yeah, let's just go for this. So this is considered an easy fight, but let's actually control it. So the fight is 10 billies and 12 engineerlings. So these are both rogue-aligned creatures. We do have some ranged units, so I think we're good to go pretty defensive. These guys are pretty fragile, so I'll put them in the back. Okay. We're going defensive, and we're going to start the battle there. So our apothecaries are going to start throwing in the ammo, and now that the billies have reached us, let's go full aggressive. So in terms of our spell options, we have Arcane Scales, which is going to reduce the damage taken by their various attacks. Corpse Explosion. Explodes corpses. I feel like this shouldn't be necessary. This should be a relatively easy fight. We're sending in our various wolves and things. Our werewolf men. They look like wolves, but they've got like lab coats on. Yeah, the number of units in this game is insane. Okay, so we level up and we can now start moving towards some pretty interesting skills. So this is Mercurial. We spend 1 Mercury each day, and it creates Mercurial creatures for our army. I wish I could remember if we've seen a good source of Mercury. That obviously would be a good thing to do, if we can just get some kind of source. Right there. So it's right there, it's guarded by some of the creeps, or whatever they're called, the creepy things. I think we're going to go for... I don't want to spend all the Mercury. If we go for Hydromancy, we can still go for Tinker next. Tinker is something I would really like, because it's going to give us Amberoids and Dactyloids, which are pretty solid bodyguards. Amberoids in particular have really good spellcasting, as they die. If we go for extra creativity, it gives us a chance to learn a new skill at a cost of some experience. That does sound really interesting. I also really like blood warping. If we improve our blood warping, let's have a look at exactly what that does. So the power gained depends on the number of enemies killed, but especially on the power of our own lost units. For each unit, there's a preset other unit that blood warping will transform them into. Doesn't tell me, as far as I can tell, doesn't tell me what increasing blood warping really does for me. I'm just going to go for Mercurial. I know it's going to spend the Mercury, but I think I'm okay with that. Have to be a bit careful now, because anything that costs Mercury is going to become a lot harder to afford. But, frankly, the only thing we can really afford is the Learned Statue. Learned Statue improves the tavern, giving access to 2 possible heroes. It also gives us 100 gold each day. I really don't think that's worth spending the gold on. Okay, so back to this guy. He's going to keep exploring. Have to be a bit careful because he is vulnerable to attack, but we can see more stuff to pick up to the west. Then we're going to bring these into our main force. So we're now pretty strong. We're going to claim the sawmill. And let's have another look at this. So this is now moderate. This is easy. This is still challenging. So I do really want to go for that for the gold. But I think first thing we need to go for is this. We do need to get a good source of ore, but I think there is an immediate need for gold. So this should be pretty straightforward. I think in this case we will skip to the outcome. We do lose a few of various different types of units, but we do level up. So we can go for Hydromancy into Tinker. I think we will go for that. We'll pick up the gold, and if we move across, there's a Spore Mound just there, which is going to give us Dunce Caps per week. Dunce Caps are another rogue-aligned unit, although not this particular flavour of rogue. So there is a certain type of hero you can pick, which can transform pretty much any map object into a Spore Mound, and just get huge numbers of Dunce Caps. But in this case, we can just get one individual Spore Mound if we want to. Don't think I care that much about that. Okay, so we can afford the Architect, which is 250 gold per day. We can't afford the Martial Expansion. I think things are pretty desperate in terms of gold income. We need to go for the Architect. We need to just keep that gold income coming. Okay, let's end the turn there. So green actually is trying to rush past us. Really surprised by that. They've not got any stronger. If we go back to the town, we can't afford more creatures. Let's go to the scout first, and let's just see what we can pick up. So in this particular turn, there's pretty much nothing we can do. Just go straight west. Then I think we do just have to go for this. Before we do, let's go back into the town to finish recruiting these. Okay, just 5 more, not really worth the effort, but we'll bring them across. So we bring these in, add them to our main force, and just gonna have to take this fight. So this is massively in our favour. AI has made a big mistake. I think we want our range units within reach. Okay, let's see how this goes. So we're going aggressive, we are throwing in our various things. I think if we go for Rain of Frogs, it's going to give us a bit of extra backup, distract their hero and some of their other creatures. Looks like they have summoned quite a few Waveborn to attack us. But we take them out without too many losses. It's mostly just these guys at the back, the homunculuses. Taking quite a few losses to those. We have lost 1 Apothecary, which kind of sucks. Okay, but this is massively in our favour, so we're just going to speed it up. Okay, our scientist will celebrate. So 1200 XP. We can reshape a Child of Midas into a Horror. So Horrors are amazing range units. They do damage over a large space. They have the Blaster ability. They're also versatile, which means they're also very good at fighting in melee. 206 health. So they're pretty safe to place near the front. This is really good. No doubt we say yes to that. And then we can go back to the town. If we go back to the town, I think we really want to get the Engineer's Workshop, which is not too far off. Is this worth the movement points? Yeah, let's just do it. We've possibly taken out their starting hero, which is really nice. Okay, so we do have the option of building a couple of things. The Lieutenant Hall is... I've tried it before. I don't think it's great because the Lieutenant is not really strong enough to take many fights. So the Lieutenant hero comes out with their own army, can't be traded away, and the Lieutenant can only use their own army, which replenishes over time. However, if that army's not actually strong enough to get anything done, it doesn't really help you that much. So I think we just ignore that. Gonna avoid building this turn, just gonna end the turn there, and I hope for green's sake that that second hero is pretty good, because we have destroyed the first without too much effort. Okay, so the hospital is really important, but I'm still gonna go for this because I want to use the opportunity to actually build a war machine if I can afford one. Maybe I can't. Gonna go to this guy first. Go across to this, a little bit of extra gold. And there's a bit of gold there too. And actually green has taken an extra town, which we're probably not strong enough to take. Just on our own. But perhaps we should be a bit more aggressive as well, because that seems like a good idea to go out and conquer some towns. Okay, so not a lot we can spend. Where is the blacksmith? Engineer's Workshop. So we can afford the first aid tent. First aid tent will resurrect some of our units that die during combat. The base chance is 30%. Heavy Ballista is cheaper than normal Ballista. Occasionally fire a barrage of 3 large spears into the enemy ranks. Deals damage in a large area around each of the 3 spears. If we could afford both, I would, but I think play it safe, go for first aid tent. It's a really good building. It's reliable. Let's just do it. Okay, so if we move out, we can take Turtle's Rest. Is that too heavily defended? It kind of looks like it is. If we go north, we know this is pretty weak. There's also this one. Where is it? This one just here. We could probably do it, but I think one objective we know we want is Mercury supply. So we're going to go straight west. And we're going to move towards all of that. So it's ruins. So scattered remnants of a kingdom from yesteryear. You may be able to pillage some resources, maybe find some remaining troops. That's probably worth a detour. Okay, let's end the turn there. Okay, green still just has the one hero, which is good. Move across to this. So Magi's Shoes +1 spell power or 5 ore. We are running pretty low on ore, but I want the spell power. Okay. That all seems good. Let's move back to this guy, and let's go ahead, grab some crystal. Is there something more efficient we can do? So there are a lot of towns you can conquer on this map. That's kind of interesting. Suggests you should be pretty mobile. Okay, back across to this. We do want to go for the hospital as soon as we can. It's going to help us save a lot of our creatures that aren't native to our town. The Colossus, we need a bit more ore. Marketplace, we've already got. Summoning Circle, not really worth spending our gold on right now. Elemental Spire teaches us the town portal spell. That would be good to come back for. Maybe I'm being a bit too reluctant, but I feel like maybe we should come back for that at some point. Get some more war machines. Okay, the Learned Statue. It would pay for itself in 11 turns, but it's not that appealing. I think we could build the Elemental Spire now, but let's not. Let's try and save up some gold. So green has now got multiple heroes once again, and one of them is moving in this direction. So he's pretty tough, but I'm sure we can still take him. Still, I do really want to go for this. Do I have time? No, he's like 1 turn away. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, let's just move back. So we're going to run out of Mercury pretty soon, but that's just how it is. If we look to the north, is there an easy source? So there's some gold just there, there's a treasure chest. We probably want to move kind of aggressively because there's some stuff we can claim to the south. Hopefully before green gets there. So green is just there. Probably going to go for this stuff before we can reach it, and that's guarded as well. I think in that case, let's keep things simple, and let's go towards the gold we know we can get. Okay, back across to this. So, martial expansion increases our gold by 500 per day. I think we are struggling for gold, so we kind of have to do it. The Aberration Spire produces horrors. Already established horrors are really good, and we can afford to do it. But there's not much point if we're not producing enough gold. Okay, so we have transformed into a city. So Apothecary Expert increases the weekly growth of Apothecary. Homunculus. And then there's Patriotism. I like this. I think these are good units. And I think it goes well with our Tinker skill, once we can get that. Okay, let's end the turn there. Green still going aggressive. I think almost reaches our town, but doesn't quite. Yeah, doesn't quite reach us. Is considered easy. Okay. Could recruit some more units. I think, well, this uses up more movement points. However, we've still got a few, so that's good. Okay, back to the Engineer's Workshop. I'm going to go for the Heavy Ballista first. Actually, we can afford both. Doesn't matter. Okay, so do we go for more Apothecaries, or do we go for... Again, Learned Statue, not that appealing. Let's go for the Apothecaries. So we got a pretty strong force. Go for this attack. This should be completely fine. So the horrors we can put towards the front. They are ranged, but they're also very bulky. We've got the Mercurial, which is being produced by our new skill. I'm going to actually try and protect those. I think we can send out the Forages. The Lab Wolves are pretty good too. Okay. That seems pretty solid. So, do we go aggressive? Do they have many range units? They really don't. I think we go defensive. Okay, so we stay defensive for now. We wait till they get a little bit closer. We do some damage with our range attacks, and then we go in for a rush. Things we can cast, we can go for Acid Splash, deals damage to all enemies in a large radius and inflicts poison. I think now is the time to do that. Let's not poison our own. I'm not sure if we can, but I'm gonna play it safe. Poison all of that stuff, then go aggressive. And hopefully we won't take too many losses. So most of them are running off in terror. We've actually gained units. So we've got a rebel and a slave. Taking almost no losses. And Eyeless is on the run. Okay, so actually no meaningful losses at all. We have Creativity, which gives us the option of a new skill for 200 XP, so the choices are Warding, protects against attacks from large enemy units and from spells, and Wisdom, which gives us a choice of 4 spells and +1 knowledge, +1 spell power. I quite like this, Warding. Let's go for that. And we do level up, so we can go for... Still can't go for Tinker, we need to be level 5. Okay, I do want that soon, but... Even though I don't quite know what Blood Warping does... It's definitely a skill I like. And it must do something, so I'm gonna go for that. Okay, so... We do not have enough to build anything. We've got the war machines we wanted. Can we go for some of this stuff? So the Spore Mound is quite doable. It is day 7, so I think we stay put. Yeah, we should definitely stay where we are. Okay, so we got a Geyser Ore. It's a pretty solid unit. I think we'll take that. Other stuff we could go for, the Arena I don't think we can beat. Let's go for this. It gives us a bit of extra movement, bit of extra gold. Should have gone for that too. The camp. Okay, gonna end the turn there. We want to build the Elemental Spire next turn, which will give us a Town Portal spell. This guy has taken a lot of towns, and I'm a bit concerned. Okay, a new week has begun, and towns have renewed growth, +4 daily movement, and it appears to be raining. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's go for Elemental Spire, that gives us Town Portal, and we can afford to go for a few units. So let's go for these first. Then let's go back to this guy. Let's go to this, get the extra movement. Then we go across to this. Choice between gloves and experience. This time I go for experience. Is there anything here that's good for passive? Cool Beasts could be good if we use this guy. That was an experience here too. And a bit of gold just there. Okay, that's a bit more to work with. Go back to the town. Pick up the rest of the apothecaries and a couple of the... Nope, can't afford the wolves. Okay. So we do want access to ore production. I think we will go for this, and this is now also an easy fight. This is a good direction to go in, I think. Gonna skip to the outcome. We take 1 loss to a cockatrice, gain 1200 XP. We pick this stuff up. Didn't mean to go that way. This is also an easy fight. It gives us access to... What is this? So this time round we're up against 16 lab wolves and 11 deviants. I should see what these do. What is budding? When this creature takes damage, it has a chance to spawn homunculus. Okay. That's interesting, I think. Do I protect the Mercurial? I think I do. I'm gonna send out the Child of Midas. Okay, so wolves out in front, range units in the back. I don't really care about the homunculus. I mean, they're pretty terrible. And if we get deviants, if we did get deviants, we can just produce them anyway. Slaves, they have the betrayal ability. Doesn't really appeal. Rebels also have the betrayal ability. When the creature is close to death, it will flee. While fleeing, these units may then huddle in a group and decide to betray. Whatever, I'm not afraid of that. Let's kick this off. If they die, I don't mind that at all. Could have stayed a bit more defensive there. Okay, so this is going to help our creatures stay alive. That might be worth doing. We'll try and protect these guys. Okay, so taking a few losses, nothing too bad. Let's just speed this up. Pretty confident we'll be fine. So we have taken a few losses actually. Homunculus in particular. We gained 6, but we lost 33. Lost a Lab Wolf, lost a Cockatrice, 7 Mercurial, and lost a Rebel but got one back. So maybe he joined the enemy, then joined us again? Not really sure. I think we shouldn't accept him, but never mind. Alright, so the Physique, 254 hit points, really strong tanky unit. We will say yes to that, that is definitely worth doing. And now at last, we can go for Tinker. Regeneration, also kind of interesting. Frozen Heart gives the attacks of all units a chance to freeze enemy units. Increases the power of water spells. I think that's also one of the new ones. Goes well with Hydromancy. But Tinker I really like, because Tinker gives us extra units which will replenish at the end of each fight. So we can take losses without taking actual losses. Okay, so Frozen Heart is interesting. It leads us towards Fortune. There's also Blight Ritual, which transforms all of our units into Blighted and makes Blighted stronger. Don't really care about that. I think we'll go for even more Blood Warping. Let's go to the Mana Well. And that's as far as we can go. Okay, gonna end the turn there. The green doesn't really threaten us too much. I think we can afford to move towards this. We can also take out the roaming neutral, who's pretty straightforward. So I think we'll kill this stuff on the way back. This stuff just here is guarding a cage, which will give us some extra creatures. But that's a moderate fight, so I'm not sure about that. Okay, let's go for the town first. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, so the town has a hero. It has 40 Waveborn, 16 Militia, and 20 Cyclone. So the Physique is a really strong tanky unit, and we can also see here are our bodyguards. They're marked out by these little don't know what to call them, brackets. So the Amber Road has the ability, which one is it? I think it's Release. Yeah, when it goes below 50% health, it has a chance to cast a spell. One of those spells actually summons extra horrors. Horrors, we've already established really good range units. The Dactylode is a little mini mechanical dragon, I guess. Again, if it dies, it doesn't really matter because it will come back. Okay, this seems pretty good. Let's just go fully aggressive, kick this off, and let's have a think what we can do. So Acid Splash on all of this. That seems very strong. We have to wait for our spells to recharge. Gonna take a few losses to our weaker units, but I think that's fine. So Temporal Boost gives us temporary boost, doubling their health and damage for 10 seconds. Now is not the time to go for that. Corpse Explosion, don't think we've killed enough. Let's go for Rain of Frogs, and let's try and distract the units as much as we can. So frogs are going to fall from the sky, and going to hopefully stop them from attacking us too much. The Physiques rush in and take the bulk of the damage. Can now go for another Acid Splash. Let's do it on all of this stuff. Nice chunk of damage to the Waveborn. We can see a lot of them poisoned. And some of them move to the corner. Their hero is coming to attack us. Not sure what's going on, but most of the losses we're taking are to units we don't care about too much, although I've lost a few Cockatrices. Some reinforcements start to rush in. We actually lost a Physique. It's worth it for the town, but not a great situation. Amber Road has died and casted Bless, or almost died perhaps. Okay, pretty heavy losses. Horror does appear to be completely fine, which is good. That's my favourite creature we have. So battle left behind, 200 gold, 5,500 XP. We can transform 6 Apothecaries into 6 Physiques. That's so good. Okay, what can we do next? So Mercurial. This ability is effectively useless to us right now because we have no Mercury to spend. Regeneration is interesting, I think. We go Frozen Heart. We also increase our luck. So luck gives 4% per stat chance for each attack to be luck strikes. Luck strikes deal 3 times more damage in a 4 times larger area. Great knockback. That could be so good for the horrors. Frozen Heart is just good in general though. I think we go for that. Yeah, let's do it. Did we take on both at the same time? Is that what happened? I'm confused by this. We must have done. They joined up. I didn't pick up on that. Okay, +1 elementalism skill and +1 defense from the Conjurer's Cape. Elementalism skill is, let's have a look. Summons elementals throughout combat. Current terrain gives us Waveborn. That's always solid. Means we can play really defensive. Clay Gloves is basic boost to our stats. Let's claim this town. And there's not really much we can do with this. If we can get a bit more gold, we can massively increase our gold income. So yeah, I think we should do that. Okay, so we've moved as far as we can just there. Gold options for this guy, there's not really too much. Gonna have to move south. Go to this, get a bit more movement, and yeah, nothing else we can really grab. Okay, back to the main town. What can we go for next? So Artisan Expansion, 500 gold per turn. Urban Expansion, also 500 gold per turn, but way more expensive. Wall turrets actually also increase our gold income, but that costs a lot of ore and a lot of wood. So, I mean, I do really like Aberration Spire, but we can get that on day 7. That's fine. So, Artisan Expansion. Got a choice: Homunculus Expert, Cockatrice Expert, or Grand Bazaar, which improves the exchange rate. I think I prefer that, because we can actually go for some Mercury if we sell our other resources. So if we want Mercury, it costs us 330 gold. Gives us those extra units, but I don't think I care. Is there anything else we can build instead? So the Mole Breeder is quite cheap. Gives us some moles. I don't really care about moles, but they're okay. 42 health, they can retaliate. They do get terrified. Let's just buy what we can. And let's end the turn there. So green, potentially going aggressive. Moves really far. Okay, we can pick up some more stuff. So Necklace of Balance or 5 Sulfur. Let's go for the necklace. Bit of Mercury there. Then we go back to the town. We're going to pick up the remainder of these. Go back to the scout. Just press south. Go towards this. Okay, back to our main. So this is still moderate. I think it's not really worth going for. I think we're going to go for this instead. Bit of extra gold, bit of extra ore. So Sunbringers are healers, Harpies. So if we send all of this to the back, these are our bodyguards, so they can go out in front. Physique's very hard to kill. Horrors in the back, range units in the back. Hero out in front. Apothecaries towards the front. Okay, we're going to go defensive. And because we do have the elemental ability, if they take a while to reach us, that's completely fine. So in the meantime, we do a bit of extra damage. They begin to surround our physiques. They do actually cast Earth Elementals towards the back, so I think it's time to go aggressive. And Acid Splash, not going to get too many. We go for Arcane Scales, hopefully protects some of these, stops them being killed off. This shouldn't be a hard fight in theory. But our physique's doing the bulk of the damage. So we've scared off their Earth Elementals. Some of their other units have got into the back of some of ours. So we might take a few losses. So far those seem to be holding out pretty well. Yeah, the bulk of their units up towards the top. We should be able to take out using our physiques. What are physiques? Are they made of flesh? I'm not really sure. So once again, given the opportunity to reshape, we'll go for that. And we have the opportunity to level up a skill. Or we could go for regeneration, which is kind of interesting. Creativity, also kind of interesting. Wisdom gives us a choice of 4 spells. I think it's between Fortune and Wisdom. And I think I'll go for Wisdom. So Salt Blast, Salt Armor, Salt Spray, and Salt Shower. Just dispels magic effects and deals damage. This deals damage to enemies in a line cast from our hero. This affects friendly units, increases health by 10% and gives them warning. And Salt Blast, we already have warning, so I don't care too much about that. Salt Blast deals damage to all units, 3 times more to summoned units. Presumably that includes our own, so that doesn't really appeal. I'm gonna go for Salt Shower. Pick all this stuff up. It's up to 4,200. Move back towards the town. Okay, so other things we can go for. Artisan Expansion requires a lot more wood. Hospital is very overdue. Just gonna go for that now. Okay, let's end the turn there. So green continuing to expand, continuing to take things over, that's fine, because I think most of the towns they take are just going to be basic outposts. They can't really do too much. So there is something we can go for just there. There's a camp. There's also a treasure chest we can pick up. So yeah, I think we go towards the camp, and we're going to try and take that stuff. Then back to the dock, we're very close to being able to afford this building. The Plaza of Rogue. This might be one of the 6 that... No. This is the Spore Town. It's a weak version of the Spore Town. This is not one of the 6 you can't play as. Let's go back to this town. And what else can we do instead? We can go for the Spire of Life and Death, which gives us the Ghost Larvae. So these things are expensive. Are they worth going for? So summoning... They can produce some worms. They're sturdy. They have a lot of health. They inflict terror. When they deal damage, they restore health equal to 1/4 of damage dealt. Take half damage from ranged attacks. They're very slow. We have a lot of tanky units. I'd kind of prefer to just have something a bit more aggressive. Ranged units, perhaps. So Aberration Spire is no longer affordable. We need some more wood. I think we pay for that. We go into this. Buy some wood. 130 gold. Easy to afford. Aberration Spire. So we can produce 1 horror per week or 3 chimeras. Absolutely go for horrors. Okay. Happy with that choice. Let's end the turn there. Green, this is presumably not the main. Yeah, nothing too scary there. Okay, let's go for this. There is green. And definitely getting tougher. They've got some dragons. Can we run away? I'm really just going for the gold. Might get taken out, but in the meantime, let's grab as much gold as we can. Steal the sawmill. Start moving west. Okay, do we go back to the town? I think maybe we do. Is there anything we can pick up that's going to help us if we go back to the town? So the Potentiator... we'd have to spend a lot for. Gives us 3 ultimate spells in addition to +2 knowledge and +2 spell power for casting oriented, which I think does include us. +2 attack and defense for fighting oriented. Is that worth paying for? I think it is because I don't want to keep coming back to this town. So yeah, let's go back to the town. Then we're going to go into the marketplace. And we're just going to try and buy this stuff. So it is expensive. But it should be cheaper than it was. So we go for this. 3 of these. Go back into this. Build the Potentiator. Gives us a few extra spells. We can also pick up... Wow, this thing's so expensive. Do we sell some ore? Is that even enough? Let's have a look. So we need 2,460, so we need about 400. So even if we sell 5 of these, I think we're just off. We could sell 1 crystal. I'm gonna do it. I want to pick this thing up. So we got 2 horrors. That's really solid. Okay, I think time to go aggressive. So this is the Atoll. The Atoll allows us to create Temptresses for either gold or other resources. Don't really care about that. I'd rather go for this because this gives us units for free. Okay, end the turn there. So green is going to chase us down. And how good is this thing? So green dragon. It's pretty good, but mostly it's just massive. It's not actually like 268 health. Not that good. The Geyser, I'll be a bit sorry to lose. We're going to try and flee. but will it work? Let's see. So guys are all... Wow, just gets completely annihilated. Fine. Can't act too surprised. Green is moving right towards us, but doesn't fight us, which suggests they know they can't win. But for some reason still move towards us, which is a bit strange from the AI. Okay, so these guys, Dactylodes and Amberoids out in front. Doesn't matter if they die, they're just our bodyguards. They will come back in each fight. They're effectively free units. Range units, fragile ones towards the back. These away as well. Can we afford to send out one more physique? Yes, we can. Okay. That seems pretty solid. Go defensive. Yeah, they don't have many range units. So slaves will probably turn to our side. Mad Eyes. Yeah, nothing ranged. Okay. Defensive should work. Let's start the battle. So our ballistas are going to start firing into them. Heavy ballista fires 3 spears, but they all miss. Okay, let's go aggressive. Now that they've reached us. Do we need to cast spells? I think Acid Splash on all this stuff could be justified. Let's do it. Let's speed this up because this should be pretty straightforward. We've already pretty much defeated all their units. Perfect. So no losses whatsoever. 2000 XP. We have the choice of Blight Ritual or Banditry. Gives us bandits each turn, teaches Ambush, which allows us to go into a special combat scenario from which they gain gold and experience. Normally requires level 11. That's a no-brainer. Definitely go for that. Then we'll go for the Spore Mound. So Bark Stalls, they're soft-bodied, which means they take no more than 10% of their damage per hit, but don't really see how that helps them if they're that tanky. There's also the Ayla font. That thing looks pretty scary. And 10 Dunce Caps. Okay, so units we don't care about in the front. Put these back, send out the physiques. That should be fine. Yeah. Let's try this. So these things are just tanks. Bringing in some elementals to help us. We've already scared most of their units away. Even these big tanky guys at the back, they rush in and they take damage so quickly that I think we're fine. Yeah, we actually transformed them and then killed them off. And the rest of the units, they're all pretty passive. We take a few losses to the stuff we don't care about too much. Yeah, this is completely fine. Gives us a bit of extra production per week. 3000 XP as well, and we can reshape an apothecary into a physique, so we're getting very melee focused, but that's fine. Are we strong enough to take this on? I assume we are. Just gonna go for it. So, 29 Horn Bowyers. The Panzers are actually... That's actually a pretty clever play on words. So the Panzers naturally are tanks. 158 health, knockback. Serpent of the Gods, 226 hit points. Earth Tigers. So they have lots of pretty elite units. We need to cast some spells here for sure. So as usual, bodyguards out in front. If they die, that's completely fine. And I think I want to take some of these other units back. Send out as many physiques as we can. Okay, so physiques go out. Let's take the claw mauls back as well. Send out the apothecaries. Send out the horrors. Bring these back. Okay, we've not got a lot of choice. I guess we just take the apothecaries back. Send out something from reserves. That'll do. So, a little bit worried about the Panzers. The Horn Bowyers I think we can get with our spells. These things are just tanky, but they should go down pretty quick to the physiques. Let's go for it. So what can we do? I think Salt Shower is interesting. I think Rain of Frogs on these. That's going to really get on their nerves. Hero is rushing in against the Panzers on his own. Actually riding a giraffe, which took me way too long to notice. Okay, here we go. So, what can we do? Next, we could go for... Let's go for Acid Splash on all of this stuff. That's a nice chunk of damage. Serpent of Gods is summoning some elementals. The Physiques are rushing in against the Panzers. We appear to have summoned some worms. Got a lot of frogs coming out too. Taking a few losses, we lost one of our lab wolves. Lab wolves. Tis a silly creature. Okay, so losses completely fine. Kind of sad to lose the lab wolves, but to take it down, it's no brainer. Mercurial into Horror, that is the most obvious thing to ever do. Okay, this time Fortune is interesting. Creation, create some magical creatures for our army after combat. I love anything that gives me extra creatures for free. Totally go for that. Things we can recruit. We can get some archers. Plaza of Pillar is really expensive. Fighters are pretty basic. I think we just take the money and leave. Okay, this is an easy fight. It's guarding a Crystallarium, which allows us to deposit some gold. Then we can pick up twice the amount later on. Potential Sulphur Mine just there. Okay. If we defeat this, once captured, it will spawn water elementals each week to fight for our cause. That appeals to me the most. I still want to find a good source of Mercury. That roaming neutral is actually hard for us. So he's got to be really good. But yeah, Elemental Outpost, really easy fight. Should absolutely just go for this. Physique's in first. And let's kick this off. So I want to try and avoid using too many spell points. If the Physiques look like they can die, then I might. So Physiques have broken through. Speed this up, this shouldn't be too rough for us. Yeah, the Physiques. Taking all the hits completely fine, take no losses. 2000 XP. We can also go for an Aetherling. And we've claimed the Elemental Outpost, we can pick up some of their resources, which they've dropped. I want to go for this too. Although we've already got some boots. Yeah, we've already got some basic boots. Nothing special, but it's not a priority. There's a roaming neutral just there. So this is one of the new heroes, comes with some spore-based units. Over there we've got the Seed of Darkness. Create blind casters for gold. Don't care too much about that. Green's hero is just there. Considered easy for us. I will go for this. Skip to the outcome. Ah, we lost the Physique. That's so annoying. That felt avoidable. Okay, Blood Warping. We can turn a Claw Mole into a Seraph. That is, again, definitely worth doing. We can also go for a new skill, so we have a choice between Hoard, which improves our stats the more gold is hoarded. I'm not really hoarding gold. I'm going to go for Hex. Turn some enemy creatures into frogs. That's really good. Crystal Assembly allows us to create crystalthemums. Not sure how to say that. Each time we pick up resources, but in particular crystals. Really like that skill, and it's good to pick up as early as possible. So we picked up the sulfur just there and got 2 crystalthemums for it. Potential sulfur mine costs 750 gold, 3 wood, and 3 ore. Let's say yes to that. Then let's move towards this. Then go back to our main town, and let's go for... what can we actually afford? Summoning Circle. Nothing else. Okay, let's just end the turn. So green is kind of actually moving out of our reach. We probably have to go for that. It's such a drag, but if we don't get them now, they can loop round, take our town. Is it faster if we go through this? You'd think so. Let's just do it. Skip to the outcome. Oh my god, we lost a horror. Wow, this is why I don't skip to the outcome. That was not worth it. That sucked. Can we still reach? Yes, we can. Okay, lost one of our 2 horrors. I'm really upset about that, but nothing we can do about it. So, Seraph's out in front, Zeke's out in front, bodyguards, other units towards the back. We've got quite a lot in reserve. We still have 2 horrors. Can we send those out? I'm gonna put the bandits back. Yeah, banditry seems like a pretty good skill. It's 3 bandits every turn. Okay, horrors are gonna go out, and we've taken our bodyguard and Barone back, but that's fine. Definitely want the horrors involved. Also put a Seraph back. Let's take as much back as we can. Try and send the Seraph out. Doesn't work. Move these back. Yeah, we have to send something back. I guess we'll just send a Seraph back. Send out some weaker creatures, start the battle, and let's go straight for Acid Splash. And all of this stuff. So the green dragons are pretty close to the horrors, but it looks like we've actually terrified them. So don't have to deal with them for now. They're coming back in, but they're fighting our Seraphs, and they're also fighting our claw mowers and things. Do manage to do some damage to us, but we've got mostly elite units. Is it worth going for Salt Shower? We are easily winning this. Don't think we need to cast many spells. So we've taken loads of slaves who have turned against their former owners. We've taken rebels, we've lost a claw mole, lost a homunculus, that's fine. The green dragon got transformed into a frog, so that new skill instantly proving its worth. Okay, 3,500 XP. Get some etherlings, and we can take out this roaming neutral too. So it's turned out to be a pretty productive turn. So this guy has no real range units, so if we just play defensive, we're going to be fine. Let the war machines do some damage. Okay, time to go aggressive. Gonna speed this up, should be relatively straightforward. Our summons are coming in to do some damage. Taking a few losses to the crystal guys, but none of our actual good units. Lost a couple of bandits, which is fine, they'll keep replenishing. Not even following what's happening on the map. So these mushroom guys, they're mostly just tanks. They take a lot of damage, but they don't deal too much damage. And not too worried about those losses. Yeah, nothing too bad. 9,500 XP. And we can shape 2 apothecaries into 2 more physiques. That's a definite yes. And let's go for crystal assembly now. It's going to increase the number of crystal guys we can pick up. Mysticism teaches us an additional spell. That sounds really good, but we are about to pick up a bunch of resources, so I'm going to take the opportunity for a lot of extra units. So yeah, we're getting 3 crystal guys for each resource we pick up. Sharpened Femur, +1 to our Cool Beast skill, +2 attack. Let's go for that, that's an easy net improvement. +1 Plunder skill. Bit of gold. Okay, let's have a look. So this is obviously inferior to this. So we now have Cool Beasts, which gives us beasts throughout combat. Pretty self-explanatory. Plunder skill gives us gold and artifacts after combat. Okay, cool. Okay, that all seems pretty solid. Let's go back to this, and it's the last day of the week. Watering Well is going to increase the growth of all of our units by 50%. It's really expensive, but if we can find a way, that is absolutely worth doing. Ah, it's going to cost so much. But it is doable. Yeah, I'm really glad we went for Grand Bazaar because that's such a good building. You can see some of our non-native units have come back to the hospital. But yeah, going to end the turn there. We're not producing enough gold to recruit our units, but that's fine. The point is we've built up our potential. Okay, so let's go. Could claim this town. I don't see why not. Let's go for that. So the defenders are pretty weak, and the bodyguards out in front. These guys towards the top, I don't know why it sends out some of our weak units. Like, I'd rather not lose these, since they're easy to keep. The Seraphs out instead. And usually I'd go for the horrors, but we should be fine. Let's just kick this off. Let's speed it up because I'm very confident we can win this. Should not need to take any real losses. Let's just keep an eye on the health bars. So Seraphs are all fine. Physiques are all fine. Our units are a little bit split, but yeah, taking no losses. Okay, we get some gold, get some experience. We've got so many good skills. We get yet another skill from creativity. So flying units get stronger, increases power of air spells. I assume this is just increasing our creativity, which sounds kind of interesting, but I want to take the opportunity to get a skill I can't otherwise have. And that is a bit of extra income per turn. Okay, so if we go west, there's the stables, which allows us to travel further for the rest of the week. That is definitely worth doing. Day 1. This town should be nice and safe. Spire of Life and Death I would like to go for, but still a way off. Colossus. 250 gold per day. Takes all of our ore, but I'm just going to say yes. Okay, this guy's come back. Is there anything he can do? No, I think we're fine. End the turn there. See what green does. So, green... Something big happened. They're still easy because we have taken them out so many times. I'm going to go for this because this is... Please don't take my good units. No losses, perfect. I'm going to take this for the extra movement. And I think Mysticism did sound really good. We can get even better blood warping. But yeah, I think... Increased effectiveness of all spells by 25%. That sounds really good. Okay, exchange some horses to allow us to travel further. Can't see any actual downside to that. We get some gold too for some reason. Then we can push through this. Skip to the outcome. Losses that don't really matter. A few extra units. Transform a forager into a physique. Grab some free molten charas. And let's loop round. Go for the Mercury. And if we go back to this town, see what we can do. So, urban expansion needs all of that ore, which we just spent. That might have been better to do, but never mind. Spire of Gigantism, let's go for that to get the extra production of lab rats. These lab rats have obviously been expanded quite substantially. We also have, actually, a Ghost Lava available. I think we send this out. Yeah, I'm going to go for some Apothecaries, and I'm just going to move all of this stuff into a force, and we're going to try and bring this to our main. Send this guy in as backup, end the turn there. So green is going to try and expand. I think we just go aggressive. Try and chase him down. So first hero is just there, very weak. There is no meaningful risk. Kick this off, speed it up. Shouldn't take any losses. Okay, scout goes down. Then we go for this guy next. And at this point I think it's pretty obvious. Been obvious for a while. We should just go really aggressive against this town. Because he can't really threaten us too much. Go for Acid Splash and all of this. Okay, we've grabbed ourselves even more slaves. And I'll be tempted to pick this stuff up. This would give us so many crystal guys. Gotta do it. Okay, back to this. Do we build anything this turn? I don't know what I'm missing. I'm not sure where the ghost lava came from. Okay, back to this. Let's go treasure chest, experience, grab some crystal. Each time we grab crystal, we get 6 of the ghost guys. So this battle involves 3 horrors, which I think we want to rush as soon as possible. Let's try this. And I am going to cast some frogs because I think we could take some losses to the horrors if we don't. So the frogs are a nice distraction, and we just let the rest of our units tear them up. Okay, 0 losses, that's perfect. 4000 XP. We can reshape a Molten Chariot into a horror of our own. And we get yet another skill, wow. So enchanting gives the hero a chance to gain or upgrade an artifact. I'll take as many skills as I can. Still can't upgrade our Tinker skill, but can upgrade Blood Warping, which... do like that idea. I think we should finally go for Fortune though. And yeah, like I said, we are clearly very powerful at this point. We can just go super aggressive against their town, which is actually not there. It's to the west. Okay, let's end the turn there. They have not produced any more heroes. One has just spawned though. Still, this is obviously massively in our favour. We just go super aggressive. Doesn't really matter which units we leave in reserve. For some reason it has left all the physiques in reserve, which is weird. But doesn't really matter, this is pretty much the final fight. So let's go for an acid splash on all of this. Then let's send in some frogs to distract. What else can we do? Arcane Scales helps protect us. I think that's pretty good because some of these units are not too sturdy. And if we just speed this up, continues to tilt in our favour. Got 3 horrors dealing tons of splash damage. And the losses we're taking are really not too bad. Some of the crystal guys, the etherlings, just our basic units. And yeah, I think AI just obviously went way too aggressive. Okay, so we can get 3 bandits into 3 physiques. Yeah, this hero is extremely powerful. There is a little bit more of a defense, but this is even more straightforward. Let's kick this off. Let's speed it up. Scale the walls. Flying units go across. And they don't stand any chance. Can't do any meaningful damage to us, so we finish them off. Grab ourselves the Hero's Cape, and what do they have left? I guess technically they have this. Just gonna try and rush them. Gonna take this on the way for the extra units. We did lose a horror, we lost a physique. Maybe wasn't worth it, but we get 3 more physiques. And we get whatever this is. 2 more of those. Fine, whatever. We have so many skills. So green is staying very defensive. Let's go for this. At this point, yeah, we actually get another horror for that. Create a new artifact, and we level up. Go for even more blood shaping. So we can get some edicts, which are weird scroll creatures, or the summon anima spell. Let's go for some more creatures. Let's go for some mercury, which helps us with our mercury skill. Shadow lock. It's a major water spell, it affects enemy units. Locks them with shadows, making them unable to move. Fine. This is a moderate fight, so we're going to ignore that. Yeah, so green, pretty afraid to move out, but annoyingly does move a bit. Okay, a new week's begun. We should chase him down, but let's go for his town first. Completely undefended. Does appear to be another neutral town. Okay, so this is annoying. Green is surprisingly fast, but has no town. We just need a bit of extra movement. But don't think that can happen. Let's go for this. Let's skip to the outcome. Take the extra units. Take the combat skill. So this gives us +1 creature speed. What we want is extra speed for our hero. Give some crystal. +1 armor skill from this. Keep chasing him down. We can now reach. He's taken himself a new town. But we can go straight for that. Kick this off. Speed this up. Go for Acid Splash. So we're very much at the point where every fight we take just makes us even stronger. Okay, a new artifact. This is a Necklace of Balance. We can replace it with the Mesmer's Eye for +1 Mysticism. That's a no-brainer, and that is the end of our opponent. So yeah, that is the Rogue Realms DLC. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As you can see, it does add quite a lot of extra content. If you would like to try Heroes Hour or the Rogue Realms DLC, I will leave affiliate links in the description, where you can buy the game from GOG and support the channel at the same time. I'm going to end the video here because, as you can probably hear, my voice is struggling a bit with this cold. This has been a very enjoyable session. I hope you enjoyed too, and I'll see you next time.